Zambia is currently sitting on the world's most critical economic asset. As the global race for electric vehicles and green energy intensifies, this nation's massive copper reserves has turned it into a geopolitical chessboard. But behind the scenes, a quiet economic war is being fought, a war that will completely decide the outcome of the August 13th general election 2026 in Zambia. Welcome to the deep dive on Streetwise Politics. Today we dive deep into Zambia's copper production, where we'll be giving you more on what is going on there. Sixth election in Zambia is no longer just a political contest between Hakainde Hichilema and Brian Mundubile. Beneath the campaign, rallies, and political slogans is a deeper economic struggle centered on copper, debt, foreign influence, electricity, and control of Zambia's future. Zambia is Africa's second largest copper producer, and copper has become one of the world's most strategic minerals because it powers electric vehicles, renewable energy systems, AI infrastructure, and global manufacturing. The government wants to raise copper production to 3
This year, we will achieve the psychological mark of 1 million tons of copper this year. Never done before.
million metric tons by 2031, more than triple current levels, attracted investors from the United States, China, the UAE, India, and Canada. This means Zambia is now caught inside a global competition between major powers seeking access to critical minerals. Why this matters politically, the ruling UPND government argues foreign investors or foreign investment is rebuilding the economy. Critics argue Zambia risks becoming too dependent on foreign mining interests again. Opposition parties are increasingly framing the election as a fight over economic sovereignty. The hidden question shaping the election is who will truly benefit from Zambia's copper boom, ordinary citizens or foreign investors? The IMF and the populist politics. After Zambia defaulted on debt in 2020, the Hakainde Hichilema government entered a restructuring program worth about 1.7 billion. The IMF says Zambia has reduced inflation, improved reserves, stabilized debt, and restored investor confidence. But there is another side to the story. Many Zambians still complain about high meal prices, electricity shortages, unemployment, and rising living costs. This creates a dangerous political contradiction. International institutions praise Zambia's microeconomic recovery. Many ordinary citizens still feel economically squeezed. That gap is geopolitically explosive ahead of the August general election in 2026. Election spending and fiscal discipline. The IMF has already warned about election related expenditure and growing fiscal pressure ahead of the votes. This reveals a hidden tension. The IMF wants strict fiscal discipline. Politicians facing elections often want more spending to win voters. That creates what economics call a political budget cycle. The ruling government must balance maintaining IMF credibility while also satisfying citizens demanding immediate economic relief. If the government spends too aggressively, investors may panic, the kwacha could weaken, inflation may rise again. If it remains too strict, opposition parties can accuse if on serving the IMF instead of citizens. China, the West, and Zambia's strategies position. Zambia is becoming a geopolitical battleground between Western minerals interests, Chinese mining interests, and the Gulf investment capital. Chinese firms remain deeply embedded in Zambia's mining sector, while Western-backed firms are rapidly entering the copper race. The US-backed Cobalt Metals is investing billions into Zambia's the Mingomba project. At the same time, Chinese-linked operations continue reopening and expanding copper mines. The UAE has also entered Zambia's mining sector aggressively. This means the 2026 election is also indirectly about which international alliance Zambia strengthens and who gains influence over future copper exports. The electricity crisis is underrated. Mining growth requires massive electricity supply, but Zambia has struggles with energy shortages worsened by droughts affecting hydropower generation. The IMF itself acknowledged energy related constraints hurting economic activity. This creates another hidden conflict. Copper expansion needs power. Citizens also need affordable electricity. Industry competes with households for limited supply. If blackouts continue into the election season, they may they could damage the ruling party politically despite strong macroeconomic indicators. The opposition's economic opportunity. Brian Mundubile and allied opposition figures are likely to focus on one powerful message. The economy may look good on paper, but ordinary citizens or ordinary people are not feeling it. That message can resonate strongly if food prices still high, unemployment persists, and mining wealth appears concentrated among elites and foreign corporations. The opposition may frame the IMF reforms as externally imposed pro investor and disconnected from grassroots surface. The hidden fear. Resource nationalism of the biggest unspoken fears among investors is whether future political instability could trigger mining tax disputes, contract negotiation, or more aggressive resource nationalism. Investors want policy stability, voters want a larger share of mineral wealth. That tension sits at the center of Zambia's economic politics. The real 2026 battle in Zambia is not only about personality, it is about competing visions of the economy. Main argument: reform and stability. Zambia must maintain IMF backed reforms, attract investors, and grow mining output. Economic nationalism. Zambia must ensure citizens benefit directly from copper wealth and resist excessive foreign influence. Copper is now more than a mineral in Zambia. It, it has become a geopolitical asset, a campaign weapon, a debt resolution, and a symbol of national control. The election outcome could determine how Zambia manages its mineral wealth, who benefits from the global green energy transition, and whether economic stability translates into political survival. Right, guys, please do well to subscribe to the channel, like, share, and comment. And make sure you put the notification on all. Anytime we upload new video, you'll be the first to get the ringing bell or the notification on your phone. So here we end it on the streetwise politics. Bye bye.
As opposed to an opportunity, big opportunity. So we set 4 rules. I heard some of you talk about these rules. 4 rules. A booklet of 4 rules. 1, there must be legal mining only. We don't want illegal mining. Simple, straight. 2, we must mine safely. At the beginning, we observed a minute of silence, Mr. Chairman. Over what? Loss of lives. Minister Mantashe talked about the improvements in the sector here, loss of lives. We're losing lives. Young guys are going and creating rat holes down there, and they die. We cannot accept that. Part of the safety we're talking about is polluting the environment. Rivers, cleaning gold with mercury. It cannot be right. That should not be allowed. 3, we want to see formal and structured trading, but also the resources coming into the economy. Rather than one country reporting gold imports from Zambia of $1 billion, but Zambia is only reporting $60 million. One doesn't have to be a rocket scientist to know what's going on there.
These discoveries represent opportunity, but government is clear that minerals must not become a source of disorder. Formalizing mining has therefore become both an economic and national security priority. When mining operates outside the law, the consequences are immediate. Lives are lost through unsafe digging. Environmental damage follows. Armed groups and illegal entrants threaten stability. A revenue that should support hospitals, schools, and roads disappear before it reaches the treasury. Security assessments have already pointed to attempted site invasion in some mineral-rich areas. In response, joint security operations have been deployed, illegal miners removed from restricted zones, and arrests recorded where law has been breached. The principle guiding this approach is that Zambia's long-standing peace cannot be traded for uncontrolled extraction. Government is instead building a structured pathway that allows miners of every scale to operate legally and safely. In Mpika, more than 500 artisanal miners drawn over from 300 cooperatives have already undergone formal training focused on safer extraction methods, mercury-free processing, and regulated gold trading channels. The long-term plan is the establishment of a large-scale gold mine that will absorb small-scale operators into an organized ecosystem where safety standards are enforced and earnings are traceable. This matters socially as much as it does economically. The current informal environment has often been too dangerous for broad community participation, particularly for women. Structured operations open the sector to safer and more inclusive employment. A similar model is being prepared for Nakonde, while the proposed fertilizer mineral project in Isoka signals government's intention to link mining directly to agricultural productivity and food security.
So we want to see more women. And we're giving licenses to women. But licenses alone without the support mechanisms are not enough. And that's why what we want to learn from other countries. What have other countries done in that space? Happy to learn.
Behind these actions is a larger fiscal reality. The era of heavy donor dependence is fading. Zambia's national budget is increasingly supported by domestic resource mobilization, and mining sits at the center of that transition. When minerals leave the ground without accountability, the country risks weakening public finances and constraining development. Conversely, when mining is properly regulated, the benefits are visible. Over the past few years, the sector has generated billions of dollars in export revenue and remains a key driver of projected economic growth, estimated above 6% in the near term, largely on the strength of mining expansion. President Hakainde Hichilema's presence at Mining Indaba is therefore not ceremonial. It is strategic. Zambia is presenting itself as a predictable investment destination anchored on regulatory clarity, a digital licensing system, improved geological data, and reduced bureaucratic friction. Now, the message to investors is direct. Partner with Zambia in responsible mining that creates jobs, protects communities, and delivers measurable returns. There is also active learning underway. Government has recently engaged Ghana, Africa's largest gold producer, studying both its successes in formalizing artisanal mining and the lessons from periods where illegal mining strained environmental and security systems. The objective is simple: capture the revenue without importing the risks. Regionally, Zambia is positioning its mineral expansion within a broader economic transformation that includes energy development, transport corridors, and value addition industries. Major capital commitments already signal investor confidence. Expansion such as the $1.2 billion United States dollars Kansanshi S3 project and other large-scale ventures demonstrate that long-term money is responding to policy stability. The direction from State House is equally clear. Mining must protect citizens before it produces profit. President Hakainde Hichilema has consistently stated that mineral wealth should never create conflict or loss of life. Instead, it must translate into jobs, stronger communities, and a treasury capable of funding national priorities without external reliance. What is emerging is a deliberate system. Discover the minerals, secure the sites, formalize the miners, attract capital, account for everyone produced, channel the revenue into national development. Mining Endeavor provides the global stage, but the real work is unfolding right here at home. As Zambia engages investors this week, the country is signaling readiness for the next phase of growth, one where legal and structured mining strengthens national security, stabilizes public finances, and turns mineral discoveries into shared prosperity. This is not simply about digging minerals from the ground. It is about building an economy that stands firmly on its own resources while safeguarding the peace that has long defined the nation.